Well, hello there, Vlad here. Welcome to my studio and welcome to another installment of Does It Studio, where we take a look at piece of gear, software, stuff like that, and see how it works in a home studio environment. And what we're looking at today is something that has pretty much revolutionized my mixing and mastering game. We're taking a look at Ozone 9 suite by iZotope, and that's basically their kind of mastering suite, mastering software. I'm going to demonstrate to you the mastering side and a couple of things that I really love. And to give you a little bit of background, I personally don't think I'm that good at mastering. I've learned to do pretty well balanced mixes over the year, but mastering has always been something that like you do at the end, and it's supposed to lift your mixes to be even better. But a lot of the times I feel the kind of raw mixes have actually sounded better than my mastered ones, and I never kind of had the time or the patience to dive in and figure out what was going on, or why was this happening. So this piece of software was like heaven sent to me or something like that. And I don't want to say this software is like mastering for dummies, but it kind of is. Allow me to demonstrate what I mean by that. What you see here is my song Ocean from the EP, the first four, which by the way you can listen to by following the link in the description or a card somewhere on the screen. And yeah, this is a fully mixed version. As you can see, it's fairly loud, but it's not like hitting anything, any limits or anything like that just yet. And I think it sounds pretty good. Let's just give it a quick listen. So pretty balanced, sounds good already, but it's lacking that final punch and it doesn't sound like, or professional if you will. To me, well mastered track is the difference between like a really good mix and like a professional sounding one. So let's just dive into the mastering system right away. Click the master assistant. First of all, it's presenting you with which module you want to use. I believe that the modern module is available in all the tiers of the Ozone 9 pricing, but the vintage one is only available on some of the tiers. And we're going to go with modern not only because it's available on every tier, but also because it's a fairly modern rock, metal, whatever you want to call that music style track. It just makes more sense. Then you need to decide the kind of intensity you want to have with the track. We're talking about metal. Metal is intensive or something like that in English. So we're going to go with high in this one. And the manual versus reference means that in manual mode, the software will listen to a track and apply settings based on that. But you can also upload your kind of own reference track into it, like your favorite song or like a song that matches, or like that would match this song, for example. And it will listen to your track, to the track that you uploaded, and try to match the intensity and EQ and stuff like that from that song onto your track. So that's something really cool you can do as well. But because I mentioned that this is kind of mastering for dummies, if you will, we'll go with the manual mode. And then the last thing you decide is whether it goes on a streaming service, on a CD. It basically just kind of adjusts the overall output level of the track. So let's hit play and see what it does. And there you go, we have a suggestion version of the master. Let's quickly take a look at what it has done. It added some equalizer, boosted some lows apparently, did a cut around 3,000–4,000 Hertz and a big boost on the high end as well. I'm going to bring that down just in case because I'm kind of sensitive to really high frequencies and I just like to bring them down just a little bit. So yeah, that it disabled the dynamics section of the mastering because it, like the software felt that there was quite a lot of compression going on already. Then there's something called dynamic EQ, which is really cool. Let me play the track and you can hear it. But to be more specific, you can see it because you can see this thing is pulling down some of the frequencies. Basically, you kind of give it a frequency and it's automatically pulling it down to make that frequency play kind of more level. So like that. And then there's also a maximizer, which basically is just the kind of limiter of the whole thing. And right now I immediately want to adjust the maximizer. because as you can see, it's not hitting anything, like it's not doing anything right now. Okay, there it's catching something already, but we want it to be fairly limited dynamics wise because it's a big epic metal rock something song. Yeah, this seems good. It's hitting the limit a few dB in the biggest parts of the songs, but it's still retaining dynamics in the quieter part of the song. Yeah, that's good. Let's go with that. And yeah, equalizer wise, here's the difference. Gives it a bit more oomph, and also kind of feel the track comes down a little bit when there's less of like 3000 between and 6000 kilohertz frequencies. Just sounds a bit kind of calmer and more ear friendly, I guess, as well. And yeah, dynamic EQs pulling down some of the frequencies over here. But yeah, that's how simple it is, and in my experience it gets really close, like 99% of the time. And the only thing that you really need to adjust is the kind of threshold on the maximizer to make it as kind of compressed as you want it to sound. And yeah, obviously you want to hear the comparison between the non-mastered and mastered track, and there it is. Remember when I mentioned in the intro that it does also much more than just mastering? Well, you can also use it as a de-esser, for example, basically meaning that it will pull down the S's of your voice, and you can also compress it, EQ it, and stuff like that. And what you see here is my audio track from the video While of John Petrucci. It's the voice track we're going to listen right now, and it's just the raw recording with the Rode NT-G2 placed like right over here above my head. And it's capturing my voice. I just hit the table as well. Never mind that. Let's listen to the unprocessed track first. Heavy metal kid. To someone who was not afraid to be influenced by any kind of genres, whether it's hip hop or funk or heavy metal. Yeah, so it sounds pretty good already. There's a little bit of kind of nasal frequencies going on, and it could be louder, it could be a little bit compressed. And here's what happens when I've pretty much used the de-esser preset on the Ozone 9 plus added a maximizer, and here's the difference. Heavy metal kid. To someone who was not afraid to be influenced. Yeah, just a huge difference right away. EQ wise, I'm cutting out a little bit of 500 Hertz and also taking away some of the low end. With the dynamic EQ, it's doing the actual de-essing. Heavy metal kid. To someone who was not afraid to be influenced by heavy metal kid. To someone who was not afraid to be influenced by any kind of genres, whether it's hip hop or yeah, it just softens those S's and sounds and all those kind of sounds. A little bit of compression going on. Heavy metal kid. To someone who was not sketching some of the peaks, but that's it. I kind of want to retain some of the dynamics of the voice so it's not too compressed and not too in your face, and it also kind of sounds unnatural and kind of tiring as well after a while. Same with the maximizer. Heavy metal kid. To someone who was not afraid to be influenced by any kind of genres, whether it's hip hop or funk or yeah, again, the maximizer is only capturing some of the peaks and just bring the overall volume like close to the limit. Simple as that really, and this works really well. And let's take a listen at the completely unprocessed track and a processed track from that video. That's my love letter to John Petrucci, something like that. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the man, on the band, on the beard enthusiast, on the bodybuilder he is nowadays, something like that. I don't know where I'm going with this. Thanks for watching this video. I shall see you next time. And one more thing I want to show to you is how you can take your single guitar track and make it sound way bigger and kind of wider as well, and just more exciting. Let's jump to Logic, and again I'm using a preset called Huge Guitars that I then modified to my taste basically. Here's how it sounds without. And with. So what's going on here is a little bit of EQ, boosting some of the low end, cutting out some of the kind of, well, just problematic frequencies, taking out some of the high end of the guitar. Then what makes it wider is an imager, which basically takes your frequencies and kind of spreads them out over this stereo spectrum. You just need to be really careful with this one because it's really easy to make it sound like a bad chorus pedal, for example. But yeah, let me demonstrate what it does. Yeah, notice how it almost becomes like a slightly stereo one track. Well, it actually does become like more stereo track. Dynamics wise, again, catching some of the peaks and just leveling the track a little bit. Exciter is just adding a little bit of tube saturation. And giving it a little bit of presence, and Maximizer is just making sure it's loud enough. Again, just catching some of the peaks to retain some of the dynamics. To me, this processing makes a huge difference without kind of altering the original sound, but just taking the original sound and kind of presenting it in a nice package or something like that, if you will. Obviously, we're going to listen to the comparison now as well. So there you have it. Those are some of my highlights from the Ozone 9. There's a bunch of other stuff that you can do with it. I've used it on drums, for parallel compression, for kick drum mixing. I've mixed bass on it. I've stacked like synth tracks and strings and I don't know, cellos, all kind of stuff while working on the EP. It just does so many things so well. And as I mentioned, the mastering side is made so simple. Just let it listen to your track, make the final adjustments, and you're good to go. And if you compare this to some of the online services for mastering, this is so much more versatile. And on the online mastering services, the price kind of adds up over the years. But once you get this, you have a lifetime license and you're good to go. And it does so much more than just mastering. I don't know, to me it just makes much more sense, because if the AI that does the online mastering doesn't come up with the kind of master you want, there's not too much options for you to tweak it. Here you can do whatever you want after that, or like try different options, and it's just faster and kind of more approachable, to me at least. I like it a lot if it's not clear already. And if you want to try out the Ozone 9 software, there's a 10-day free trial available on their website. And also, as of shooting this video, the Ozone Elements, the mid-tier package, is actually on sale for $99. So if you want to grab this software, give it a try, see how it works on your tracks, and definitely use the discount. It's a steal right now. Thank you iZotope for being friends of the channel. By the way, this video wasn't technically sponsored, but they have provided me with software. But as my longtime viewers know, I'm always honest with you guys, because doing it any other way just wouldn't make sense for me or the companies as well. But yeah, time to wrap up. Links below in the description to everything I mentioned, and thanks for watching this video. I shall see you next time.